So hi guys, good evening all of you guys. Guys, audible? Okay, right. So in this exception, okay, in yesterday we talked user-defined exception names, how to create user-defined exception names that we discussed in the last session. And the next part of this exception, okay, exception propagation. Exception propagation. So what is the mean by exception propagation here? What is the mean by exception propagation? Okay. So guys, your previous all examples, if you want to see the previous all examples, what it was happen. Okay. So we are going to be handling your exceptions which was occurred under execution block only, right? So actually we know that the three blocks are there now. All of you know now. One is we called as what now guys here? Declaration block. So declaration block is there one. And second one is there what now? Execution block. So second one is what now? Execution. And third one is called as a exception block. Third one is called as exception block. So what happened as of now, the previous all examples, if you want to take it here carefully, what it was happening guys here, whatever the exception block is there, this exception block is handled exceptions. It was raised under execution block. Okay, now as of now, whatever the exceptions we are going to be handling here, so those exception block is handling exceptions which was raised under execution block. Okay, that is generally it was happening. But what is exception propagation, sir? Means exception propagation is nothing but okay. Exception block need to handle exceptions which was occurred in declaration block. Which was occurred in declaration block. My point is understand now? Which was occurred declaration block. Okay, now? So whenever we handle exceptions which was occurred under declaration block, so the mechanism and method is called as the exception propagation. Okay, now? So that means what I'm telling here. Observe what I'm telling here. Generally, okay, generally, exception block, generally exception block, handling exception block handling exceptions, which was raised in execution block actually as of now, which was raised under execution block. So whatever the exception is occurred in the execution block, those exceptions are handling by exception block in our PLSQL programs. In our PLSQL programs. But whereas, okay, if we want to, if we want to handle, we want to handle or handling exceptions, handling exceptions, which was raised in declaration block. Okay, what I'm saying here, declaration in declaration block, okay, is called as a exception propagation. We call exception, exception propagation. We call. Understanding now? So generally, exception block is handling exceptions which was rising under execution block. But whatever the exception is rising under declaration block, those declaration block exceptions, if you want to handle, okay, then we are using what now? Exception propagation method or mechanism we are using. Okay, now, for example, let us see practically one example I will show you. Let you get some understanding here. Come to your database now. come to your database now. So I just open. Okay, observe carefully. So one program I'm going to write in there. So declare X is a one variable. So varchar of some size I was given 3. The 3 is equals to, I'm giving some name is ABCD. I'm giving some name is ABCD. So X is calculated. It's a declaration block. X variable data type sizes I was taken 3. Okay, now, but I'm assigning the string name is ABCD. So that means your string, how many characters are having guys here? Come on, your string, how many characters are there? Having 4 characters. Your string expression is having 4 characters, but your variable is a size is how much here? 3. So my variable size is data type size is 3, but I'm declaring 4 characters here. So that means this is a wrong declaration now. Yes or no, guys? This is a wrong declaration. Yes, definitely it is a wrong declaration. So definitely it is a wrong declaration. But what it was happening, you can see. Later I started begin statement, and here I'm passing dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of. Okay, put underscore line of. So here X value I'm passing. Okay, and after that exception block I started. Exception block I'm passing the one exception, predefined exception is called as a value underscore error. So whenever data type size is less than to string, then their value error exception is occurred. Okay, this is also one type of predefined. Okay, no? Right. And now what you say, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line in this exception block I'm writing. Put underscore line. What I'm writing here, my statement is invalid string length. Invalid string length. I'm writing the statement. And after that, I just go to end and execute. So now carefully observe. In my declaration block, I'm declaring one variable. Okay, the size is X variable. It's a string variable with the size 3. But I'm giving the string name is ABCD. My string is having, my string length is a 4. So definitely when I'm going to executing this program, what it was happened, my exception is occurred in declaration block. Suppose your declaration block exceptions are handling the exception block, then this message will be displayed. Yes or no? Suppose your declaration block exceptions handling by exception block, then in exception block, which message I was given, that message is printing. Yes or no, guys? Okay, right. It will be printing that one. But what it was happening, you can see whether it is printed or not, you can see. I entered. But once I entered, the error is showing that what is error saying here? Numeric or value underscore error. What it was saying? Character string buffer too small. That means your character data type, whatever the string is there, this is too small when you comparing to string expression. But guys, tell me, an exception is occurred in the declaration block. That is clearly showing us, it's a clearly telling us, but your exception block is handling or not handling? Come on, guys. Your exception block is handling or not handling? Come on, carefully think, carefully think. Okay, carefully think, not handling. Okay, So value underscore error, this is a predefined exception. How we are using too many rows, no data found exceptions. That's are already open exceptions. Same like this is also one predefined exception. This exception will be occurred when your string buffer is too small. Okay, na? Your string buffer is too small. Okay, so that was occurred here. Okay, fine. But can you tell me, my exception is, my problem is here. Okay, my exception is here. But your exception block is handling or not handling? Yes, it is not handling. So why, sir? How can you say it is not handling means? Tell me, guys. Suppose it is a handling. Suppose it is a handling means which message is displayed in place of this? In place of this, which message is displayed? Come on. Which message is displayed in place of this? If it is handling. What is? Yes, very good. Invalid string length is displayed because this is user defined, user friendly message I was given. So suppose your exception block is the handling exception which was occurred in declaration block, then this message will be displayed. But unfortunately, this message is not displayed and it was showing some other exception is showing us. Okay, value error exception is showing us. That means what do you understand, guys, here? Now your exception block is not handling your exception which was raised under declaration block. It was raised under declaration block. Okay, now. So that is a point I said. What I said here, generally, exception block handling exceptions, which was rising under execution block. Okay. Okay, which was rising under execution block. But what I'm saying here, suppose if you want to handling exceptions which was raised in declaration block, your exception block is not handling. So it is not handling your declaration block exceptions. That's why which method we have to use to overcome this problem? Exception propagation method I have to use to overcome this problem. Okay, now. So to overcome this problem. Okay, but here when we use exception propagation, okay, when we implement the exception propagation, if you want to use exception propagation mechanism, okay, if when we implement exception propagation mechanism, we should use what is now nested. Should use a nested PLSQL block. Okay, so and exception propagation mechanism, whenever you want to implement in guys here, compulsory we should use a nested PLSQL block. That means a block inside another block is called as a nested PLSQL block. And this method, if you want to implement, we should create a nested PLSQL block should be created. Without a nested PLSQL blocks, we cannot implement the exception propagation mechanism. Okay, now? So this mechanism intention is to handling exceptions which was raised under declaration block. That is the main cause. Okay, now? But this mechanism, if I want to implement here, compulsory nested PLSQL block is required for us. Okay, so then only this mechanism can be implemented, and then only we can handling exceptions which was rising under declaration block. Okay, now. So now we will see how to write a nested block, okay, and how this exception propagation will be, okay, implemented here. See, same program, little bit changing, same program, careful observe. So now I'm writing now. So I'm writing here. I started here begin. So begin, this is nested PLSQL block, I'm writing begin. In this begin, I'm declaring my, okay, whatever I declared there, so that I'm going to declare the X. So varchar of the size is how much? 3 is equals to, suppose here I'm passing A, B, C, D, I'm passing same as this. This is called as a outer block. This is called as a outer block I declared here. And internally we are writing inner block. So second begin statement you can see. In inner block, what I did, dbms underscore. So out dot put underscore line of, put underscore line of. So here one message, okay, so I'm passing x value, we are passing in this case. After passing this, now internal exception block I'm writing. That is called a inner PLSQL block exception I'm writing. So exception, and what is our exception? Okay, what I'm using, value underscore error. This is one predefined exception, guys, here. So then the dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of, put underscore line of, what I want to say, same message I'm passing, invalid string length, invalid string length. Okay, then after that I need to end it. This is up to here, this is called a inner, it is called a inner PLSQL block. Okay, this is inner PLSQL block, and whatever the exception block I written, the exception block I written inner PLSQL block. Now in outer PLSQL block, one more exception I'm writing, one more exception block I'm writing in outer. So in this also same I'm using when value underscore error. Okay, then here the statement is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of, put underscore line of. So what you want to say, guys, here, string length is more than, is more than the size of, is more than size of, okay, the size of data type. Okay, the size of data, some user friendly, anything you can write your understandable part. Okay, now later I need to end. So carefully observe now. Carefully observe. Now I'm explaining. So in this execution, carefully observe. Whatever it was there, guys, here, this is begin internal exception block, and this completely is called as a inner block, guys. Carefully observe. This is completely called as a inner PLSQL block. Okay, right. And whatever it was there outside, can you see outside? So outside this part, okay, and this part, outer exception block. So this is called as a outer PLSQL block. This is called as a outer PLSQL block. PLSQL block. So now we can see. Now in propagation, in exception propagation, I'm using nested PLSQL block, inner and outer. But whatever the exception is occurred into declaration block, the exception is handling either inner blocker or outer blocker, you can see. Okay, inner blocker or outer blocker, you can see. So now we can see, observe. So now I'm going to executing this program. Which message? Suppose this message is printed, then inner block is executed, right? If this message is printed, then outer block is executed. Okay, now execute. What happened, guys? Tell me. Inner block is executed, outer block is executed. Inner, outer. Come on. Which block message is executed? Inner block message or outer block message? Yes, very good. Outer block message is executed. So what happened? Whatever the exception is occurred in the declaration block, the declaration block exceptions are handling by outer blocks. Handling by outer blocks, but not inner blocks. Okay, now. So this mechanism is called as a exception propagation. We call it exception propagation. What it was happened whenever you want to handling exceptions which was occurred in declaration block, then we should use a nested PLSQL block mechanism. This nested PLSQL block is having two blocks, okay, inner and outer. And whatever declaration block exceptions are occurred, those exceptions are sending to outer block only, but not inner block. So that exceptions are declaration block exceptions are sending to outer block only, and outer block is going to be handling your exceptions which was rising under declaration block. So this entire mechanism is called as a exception propagation we call exception propagation we call. Okay now, so this is mechanism of exception propagation, how we can go to implement it in our PLSQL blocks. Okay now, right. So these are what now guys here exceptions. Okay now, it's a what we can say, how to predefined exceptions are there, how we are using in the program, and user defined exception names, how we created. So these are all I was given in the notes, and in that notes is practicing examples are there, so you can go to one practice. Okay now, right. This is one small topic in your PLSQL exceptions. Okay, and now you observe. As of now, whatever we discuss, some introduction PLSQL, some PLSQL introduction examples, later cluster examples, later some what we can say exception examples. These are all examples and programs if you want to identify. Is there any programming code? Is there any programming code I was saved here, guys? Is there any programming code was saved here? No. The programming code is not saved. Why, sir? Because these are all our best examples of anonymous blocks. I think if you remember, our PLSQL language supported two types of blocks. One is called anonymous, one is called a subblocks. Anonymous blocks, what I said, these are unnamed blocks. When you write some code under anonymous blocks, those codes are not saved here, no reusability. Testing your source code. Testing your source code, I said. Okay now. And anonymous blocks are nobody can use in real time. Very rare, only testing side only they will be implemented. But developing side we cannot use. Okay. But developing side, which blocks are preferable? And also which block is preferable and which blocks are using into developing side nature. So that is we call as what now? Subblocks. That is called as a subblocks. And these subblocks are, we already said to you, these are called as a named blocks. Named blocks. Okay. Which is saved in database automatically. It is saved in database automatically. Okay now. So, and we said subblocks are okay automatically saved in your database, but these subblocks are okay. There are 4 types of subblocks we have. How many types here? 4 types. Okay. Subblocks objects are subblocks. Objects are 4 types. First one is called as a stored procedures. Second one is called as a stored function. Third one is called as a packages. Fourth one is called as a picks. So these are what we call as guys here subblocks objects are how many types here? 4 types. Procedure, function, packages, and triggers. So one by one, with all objects we will be discussed. So first one is called as a procedures. Stored procedures, what is this? Simply we can say okay. It is a named block. It is a named block. Named block. Okay. which will accept input values from user, comma, next perform some operation, perform some operation, and it may be or else, may not be return a value. Okay, now, so what is a stored procedure means? A stored procedure is a named block which will accept input values from user, okay, and perform some operation. After operation is completed, it may be or may not be written a value. So why the people called as a procedures or maybe may not be means that, okay, because sometimes the procedure nature is not returning value, and sometimes procedure nature is returning value. But when it was written, when it was not written, that we will see it, guys. Okay, and later come to your how this procedure object want to create means there is some syntax was there, create or replace, and create and replace, okay, and procedure name, procedure name of so here I'm passing here parameter name, okay, and we are passing here mode type, and later we are sending here data type. Okay. So this is what the syntax here. Okay, now so procedure, okay, procedure and procedure name or replace is a, okay, it's optional. So procedure name, parameter, here mode type. What is mode type? We will discuss. So mode type and data type. Okay, and so on. After that, is or as. Later you have to declare your variables. Okay, declare your cursors, whatever you can declare here. Okay, and after that we start begin. We are writing here procedure body. Body means source code. Otherwise, we are writing statements. We are writing. Okay. So after that, you need to end and close. Okay. Now this is what now the procedure syntax. How to create this object here. And after procedure object is created, suppose if you want to call, then we can how to call a stored procedure. How to call stored procedures means there are two syntaxes out there, guys. Syntax one. So we can use execute or exec, and we are passing procedure name of values. Procedure name of values. Second syntax, the syntax number we called as. So begin, and here I'm passing procedure name of I'm sending values, and end your begin statement. So these are the two syntaxes we are using, guys, here whenever you want to call your stored procedure. After this object is created and we're writing some logical code as per your requirement. And later, after successfully created your procedure, then if you want to call, then how to call your stored procedure means you can use these two syntaxes. Executing method you can use calling your procedures along with the input values and the procedure, and this is called as the input values. Okay, as I said, now user sending some input values to procedure. Based on this input value, procedure will do some operation and maybe may not be returns values. Okay, now right. So now, but in this syntax, one thing is there. So what is this mode type is there? So what is mode types means here? So let me see. That is called a types of parameters. Okay, na? The procedure basically supported three types of modes. One is called a in mode. Second one is called as a out mode. And third one is called as a in out mode. Third one is called as a in out mode. So what is in and what is out and what is in out? Okay. So those things we will discuss in tomorrow session, guys. Okay. So tomorrow I will go for parameters modes and these modes how to use in our programs. So that all we will discuss. What is in mode, what is out, what is in out. Okay. That all I will show you examples on each mode how we can use in our programs. Okay. Now, right, yes. So tomorrow we will go for that. Okay. Right. So thank you guys.